Welcome to Berlin. This city is not really beautiful, but it's wild and inspiring. Dear Mr. Tom Toomey, Mr. John Sander, Mr. Jürgen Fenk, ladies and gentlemen, Berlin is different. After the reunification, Berlin suffered very hardly. Economy ran down. We had 60 billion debts, means save until it squeezes. We are currently at Potsdamer Platz, a place which did not exist in this form in divided Berlin, a place which, like the rest of the city, had to change and redefine itself over and over again. This year's ULI Europe conference has made this exact topic its theme. How can we shape our cities for the future under constantly changing economic and political conditions? Berlin is growing, and everyone living here knows it and can feel it. 3.6 million people live in Berlin today, and in 2030, around 4 million people will call Berlin their home. This enormous growth is a challenge which is new in its dimensions for Berlin. There is hardly any other city in Europe or even in the world with such a, yes, let's say bizarre past as Berlin. Berlin was royal seat, a capital city of the Nazi regime, and not so long ago, a national capital half city and an island city in one, divided into two halves belonging to two absolutely different worlds. Therefore, Berlin always has to be thought of in double. Two centers, east-west, at Alexanderplatz and Breitscheidplatz, two congress halls, two zoos, two opera houses, two airports, two post-war modernism centers, and so forth and so on. In recent decades, because Berlin believed it was shrinking, it went into wind-down mode, introducing such measures as selling public-owned real estate to gain money, reducing the administration workforce, neglecting the upkeep of school buildings and other public facilities, to name but few examples. And now we have the big challenge to deal with growth without being really good prepared to manage it. The real estate market and the tourism industry are booming. Berlin was unprepared for this growth. If we take a closer look today, we can see the consequences of years of reduced development in many respects. However, Berlin has begun to change the course. Not only since it changed to a red-green government, but it is precisely this political coalition that is now struggling and acting even more energetical so that Berlin remains a good place to live in, so that urban growth is kept in line with the desire for green, mixed-use quarters worth living in. On top of the list is the requirement of affordable housing. We have to prevent gentrification problems. We have to defend social peace. The political goal is to achieve a fair balance of public and private interests, because anyone who wants to build with a large impact on the surrounding area must also make a special effort to ensure that the neighborhood benefits as well. This is our common task. We are partners, politics, administration, developers, investors, architects, landscapers, We must shape our cities for the future. Urban planning and architecture should be at least one step ahead of the immediate present. And we have to share the vision of green, healthy, smart, peaceful cities full of diversity. In doing so, we want to involve Berlin citizens more closely and increase their participation. We are reintroducing new planning instruments and processes, such as guidelines for the development of our residential quarters. We are increasing resources in the administration to meet the demand of affordable housing in Berlin's neighborhood. The planning task at hand is now the further development of all districts in this city with their own particular characters and the Berlin region. Because we want to preserve what makes this city unique: its unmistakable atmosphere, its social diversity, and its multi-faced open spaces, and its high quality in architecture and design. The ULI Europe Conference is an important platform for an exchange of questions. How must we think and manage our cities in order to deal with the present and master the future? It was a pleasure to meet you yesterday evening, and it was an honor to be awarded with the Ginkgo Leadership Award 2012 as a member of the ULI Germany. I'm part of the family.
Regula, thank you so much for being with us and for this welcome remark. We don't have time for a long discussion with you, but with your permission, I'll just ask you one question, which is that, of course, the enthusiasm for Berlin is growing, not just in Europe, but globally. But how much is the enthusiasm within Berlin growing for the growth of the city? Does the city really have appetite for the demand that's coming from outside?
Yes. I think the city has the appetite. We have to speak very, very often, and we have to speak a lot with the citizens, because a lot of the citizens, they don't want to accept that there are other people who really also want to live here in Berlin, and it's no more a closed island. And this is very special about Berlin. As I said, I mean, Berlin has a very complicated history. And in every project, you have to deal with this special history. Also with the fact that there is still a double city, an east and a west part. And the discussions about the growing are also very ideological. And yes, you have to be a bridge builder. And also when you come to Berlin, you have to try to listen very close about this special place and find, yes, the good answers.
Great, well, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Regula Luescher.